We'll call tonight's city council meeting to order. I'd like to remind everyone of the Perry staff core values: strong work ethic, problem solving, community oriented, shows professionalism and integrity, is team player, is accountable, and is a good steward. I'd like to do roll call, please.
Kelly,
Yes.
Mahler,
Yes.
Holly, Scott, Klein. Yes.
Okay. Could I have the approval of the meeting agenda, please?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
To the agenda, the last action under ordinance readings was going to extend planning and zoning members by 1 additional year. After some very much more digging late Friday afternoon with Molly and a conversation with Dewey, there's a conflict in the code, and we now believe that the code is right at 4 years. That's what the 2001 book says. So we're not going to make any changes on that just yet because we haven't been able to officially track down where the 5-year came from. So we would just ask that that be amended without that action.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Shelley?
Yes.
Klein? Yes. Mahler?
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to approval of the consent agenda. It's the minutes of the March 17th regular city council meeting and the March 26th budget work session meeting. We have 12 payments for contract services, 10 to Bolton and Mink, 2 to Eocene, for a total of $58,151.25. Claim register and financials of $872,244.85. And we have no licenses and permits to discuss this time. So could I have a motion, please?
I move we approve this consent agenda.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Mahler?
Yes.
Shelley?
Yes. Okay, move on to the city administrator's report.
All right, seems like a lot has been going and it's just been busy, which has been a good thing. Most of our time has been spent on budget stuff, getting that ready. Especially last week, going through some capitals to get those ready to be placed into the budget. So we'll be getting that put together and out to council for some feedback. Other than that, lots of projects going and in the works and starting to get ramped back up for some summer construction to finish a few things up. Still working through some HUD processes to get the downtown project on schedule to hopefully be bid in the next month or two. So that'll be a major bid letting, and really excited to see how those bids come back. So mostly a lot of budget conversations, but also I will add, coming out of our property tax levy hearing, we did get an email from the Iowa League of Cities today that the property tax legislation that's been proposed is starting to pick up some conversation at the State House. So I have a text out to both our representative and our senator, hopefully being able to get together with them and talk about the proposals and pluses and minuses for communities like Perry and Perry specifically. So we'll continue forging ahead on those conversations, but hopefully good things to come in the future. Also, just keep an eye out for the legislative link every Friday. And if you don't get that, let me know. I'm happy to forward it to you or help get you signed up so that you can see new stuff coming through, get fresh updates every Friday. So it's a very good resource.
Any questions for Sam? Thank you very much. Mayor, council comments. First, I'd like to thank Liz and Sven and Susie for all the work they do, plus all the department heads for getting the budget together and presenting it to us today and next meeting. I know it's a lot of work and really appreciate it, especially when the target changes all the time. So next thing is we've got a mayoral proclamation. It's National Library Week. So National Library Week of 2025 is April 6th to the 12th. Whereas libraries spark creativity, fuel imagination, and inspire lifelong learning, offering a space where individuals of all ages can explore new ideas and be drawn to new possibilities. Whereas libraries serve as vibrant community hubs, connecting people with knowledge, technology, and resources while fostering civic engagement, critical thinking, and lifelong learning. Whereas libraries provide free and equitable access to books, digital tools, and innovative programming, ensuring that all individuals, regardless of background, have the support they need to learn, connect, and thrive. Whereas libraries partner with schools, businesses, and organizations, connecting the dots to maximize resources, increase efficiency, and expand access to essential services, strengthening the entire community. Whereas libraries empower job seekers, entrepreneurs, and lifelong learners by providing access to resources, training, and opportunities that support career growth and economic success. Whereas libraries nurture young minds through story times, STEM programs, and literacy initiatives, fostering curiosity and a love of learning that lasts a lifetime. Whereas libraries protect the right to read, think, and explore without censorship, standing as champions of intellectual freedom and free expression. Whereas dedicated librarians and library workers provide welcoming spaces that inspire discovery, collaboration, and creativity for all. Whereas libraries, librarians, and library workers across the country are joining together to celebrate National Library Week under the theme, Drawn to the Library. Now therefore it be resolved that I, Dirk Kavanaugh, proclaim April 6th to the 12th, 2025 as National Library Week. During this week, I encourage all residents to visit their library, explore its resources, advocate at local, state, and federal levels, and celebrate all the ways that the library draws us together as a community. Past this day, the 7th day of April, 2025. So, thank you. Misty, would you like to add anything?
Thank you very much. I just wanted to bring awareness to that based on legislative priorities that seem to be happening at a federal level. I know that many of you are probably aware that the president signed an executive order basically eliminating the IMLS, which is the Institute for Museum and Library Services, and they provide approximately $2.2 million in funding to the state of Iowa for library services. So just Thursday is Advocate Day. So if you want to advocate for libraries, I would recommend that you do that. I appreciate all the support that we get in our community, and we will continue to provide as many services as we possibly can, as we always do.
And thank you and all the other librarians for all the service you do and all the activities you provide and for.
Yeah, I think that whole list that you read off, I think we did all that today.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Good.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank
Thanks,
you.
Misty.
Okay. Anybody on the council have anything they would like to add? Okay, next we'll go on to open forum. Speakers will be again asked to step to the microphone, state their name and address for the record, and then you'll be given 3 minutes to address the council. Any open forum requests? Okay, there being none, we'll move on to public hearings. Item A is a public hearing of the City of Perry's intent to dispose of public property by sale. We're going to sell to Van Kirk Storage LLC, the property recently vacated along Rawson Street and First Street, east of First and west of Second Street, along the south portion of the alley that runs between First and Second Street. Is the city's intent to dispose of such property for sale. So at 5:55, we'll open that meeting. Period. Any discussion?
Molly's got it.
So yeah, we've talked about this one before in the past. So we just went through the vacation process and now this is the final step to dispose of it to the Van Kirks or the Foundry. The plan is for them to take that parcel and tie it with their existing 2 parcels, or actually 3 that they own just north of the Foundry, to make a parking lot. So they are going through the site plan process with that right now and the plating process, and anticipating for that to go to planning and zoning next month. But happy to answer any questions if you guys have any.
Comments, questions? Okay. With that, we'll close the public hearing at 5:56. Okay, item B is public hearing on status of funded activities for CDBG contract number 23 HSGUs 004. This is for an upper story housing program by that same contract number, and to receive public comment on such activities. It's located at 1306 Second Street in Perry, Iowa, 50220, and is owned by Nudgers Kern Managers LLC, being funded in part through a Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, and is provided by the Iowa Economic Development Authority, and such a hearing is required. So we will open that one at 5:56.
Just point of order, was this published for 6 PM? Okay, so,
Okay.
is it okay to go
Think
to,
about that, Carla.
this is all, I'm speaking through, Carla is speaking through me. Could we do a couple of old business items and come back to that at 6 PM?
Yeah, we got 3 minutes. Hold, please.
Okay, move on to old business. Item A is resolution approving a purchase agreement for the sale of city-owned property. It's one we just talked about, Rossin Street, selling it to Van Kirk Storage LLC.
Do we need the,
Okay.
we might need to come back to this one to rehold the public hearing that may have been published for 6 PM.
It was published for 6 PM.
Okay. So
So we will come,
how about item B?
Okay,
do we need to redo the hearing, do we? Or
Do you remember everything you said, Molly?
we would have been 5 minutes later, would have been perfect.
okay. Sorry about that.
I didn't think about it either.
Resolution setting a public hearing date for the proposed fiscal year 2026 budget. One, we just talked about the assessment rate. This is going to be set for April 21st, 2025 at 6 PM in the Clarion Room here at the Security Bank Building, 1102 Willis Avenue. And it's for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026. Desired to inform the public of the hearing and to receive comments from the public on the proposed budget. So could I have a motion, please?
Make a motion, we approve resolution setting the public hearing date on proposed fiscal year 2026 budget.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Publish, the public hearing notice for the budget adoption in the paper, I think it's publishing this Thursday. And then we'll have like the memo and all the other documents for the council by the 21st.
And also with that, council member Walling will still be on vacation on the 21st. We do need a supermajority approval of the budget. So just making sure that everybody is available that day at 6 PM for that regular city council meeting.
I have to
You
work
hear
until,
me?
I have to work until 5:30. I'll be here by then.
Well, that meeting will start at 6.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I'll be
All right.
on for that one. Some
Okay.
of us still work here.
It's good for the community. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mahler,
Yes.
Now,
Okay, so now we'll go back to public hearings. So public hearing number A, city is the intent to dispose of public property for sale, the Van Kirk property to the Van Kirk Storage LLC, Rawson Street, east of First and west of Second Street, and on the south side portion of that property. So it is 6 o'clock. We will open that public hearing. Okay, Molly. Deja vu.
Deja vu.
So this is a property along Rawson between First and Second. We're gonna dispose of this to the Foundry or Van Kirk Storage for them to take the parcel and replat it with their 3 parcels to the north to create a parking lot. And I'm anticipating for that site plan and plat to go to PNC in April.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, we'll close that one at 6:01. Okay, now on to item B. Public hearing to status of funded activities for CDBG contract number 23-HSGU 004. The purpose is the status of funding activities for the City of Perry Upper Story Housing Program. Contract at the same number and to receive public comment on such activities. Projects located at 1306 Second Street, Perry, Iowa 50220, owned by Nudgers Kern Managers LLC, and is funded through a Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, and is provided by the Iowa Economic Development Authority, and such hearing is required. So we will open that at 6:02. Now, Carla.
Thank you. As you know, Perry received $536,467 of CDBG funds to provide funding for the creation of 3 upper story rental units. All 3 of the rental units will serve households at or below 80% of the county AMI. The assistance is in the form of a 5-year non-receding forgivable loan and targets upper story conversion issues. Construction is approximately 61% complete on the units. The project is scheduled to be substantially complete by June 15th of 2025, well ahead of the February 28th, 2026 completion date for the grant. Expenditures to date are $372,930.23, of which $256,468 has been requested from CDBG, equaling 48% of the total grant funds. 100% of the funds spent will benefit LMI households. Little update on the project. They're putting the back area back together after the utilities came up. The spray foam insulation was put on, making it ready for drywall. So now it's getting to be the fun part of putting everything back together. And kudos to the contractor still running on schedule through a winter in Iowa. Any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
I'm Scott Kaufman. I'm the president of the board of Nudgers. Kearns LLC. I don't know how many we have. I just want to thank Carla and the city for all the hard work they've done. It's been a very long project, and we understand that a lot of people have wondered why there's been tieback on that building for 5 years.
And there will continue to be time
And-
to food floor until this project.
On the
is
first,
closed out.
yes, due to funding things. But we just wanted, the Nudgers wants to thank everybody for putting up with us and helping us out. And now we see the end, and that's good. I'm pretty sure Rainbow has told us that now that they've poured the concrete in the back, got all that poured, drywall will start because they needed something other than gravel to drive on to start that process. So we are definitely moving forward now. So the end is near in a good way. So, but we thank you very much for all the city's help. And we hope it brings 3 apartments online and tax dollars and all the stuff that happens. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thanks, guys.
Check. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, we'll close that public hearing at 6:05. Okay, now on to old business item A, a resolution approving a purchase agreement, city, sale of city-owned property. This is for the Rawson Street between First and Second. Per resolution 031725B, published and held public hearing today. And the price will be $1,000, and it authorizes me or the city administrator to execute all the documents necessary to sell and transfer the title of the described property. So could I have a motion, please?
Make a motion, we approve resolution approving purchase agreement for the sale of the city.
Okay. We have a second? Okay. Discussion?
This is the final step in the disposal process, so. Then it'll be back as a site plan.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Klein?
Yes.
Shelley?
Yes.
Mahler?
Yes.
Schott?
Okay, we already set the public hearing item B, so we'll move on to item C, resolution approving statement of completion and final acceptance for the acquire snow removal equipment, the SRE project. This is for the one out to do the runway out at the airport. Garrett Jacobs, Bolton and Mank has submitted final acceptance and certificate of completion. We did have one snow where they could use it this year, so that was lucky, I guess. But it's for the final contract amount of $385,988.86. And the principal engineer recommends that we accept said work and issue the final acceptance and certificate of completion. So could I have a motion, please?
I'll second that.
Okay, discussion.
Garrett's
Can you guys hear me now?
Yep, we got you,
Yes,
Garrett.
ma'am.
Cool. Yeah, just wrapping up I believe this is the snow removal equipment project. After we get approval here, city has to withhold payment for 30 days per state law. After that, we will collect any administrative time or anything else that we'd like to reimburse as a part of the project, and then move to the closeout phase, which should go pretty darn quick. So looking forward to getting one closed out here.
Okay, any questions for Garrett? Further discussion?
Shelley? Oops, sorry.
Motion, please. Yep.
Ready to roll. Shelley?
Yes.
Mahler?
Yes.
Walling? Oh, she's not here. Schott? Klein?
Yes.
Okay, item D is approval of pay request number 3 for the final for the SRE equipment. This is basically $19,299.44, which was the retainage on that piece of equipment. And again, there's a 30-day holding period per state law. So could I have a motion, please?
I'll second.
Discussion? Okay, roll call.
Klein?
Yes.
Mahler?
Yes.
Yes.
Schott?
Okay, item E is approval of GX number 8 for the CDBG contract number 23 HSGU 004 in the amount of $44,362. It's a drawdown on the CDBG upper story housing conversion grant that we just talked about by the same contract number. It's for 1306 Second Street, owned by Nudgers Kern Managers LLC. So could I have a motion, please?
I make a motion, we approve GAX number 8 for CDBG contract number 23-HSGU-004.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Yes.
Schott?
Okay, item F is a resolution awarding the RFP and setting a public hearing for the disposal by sale for the redevelopment of 1110 Second Street. Per resolution 121624C, City Council approved an RFP on property located at 1110 Second Street, which was obtained through the city, by the city through a 657A process. 2 submissions received, they were reviewed, and it was recommended by the team that the city put together a public hearing to dispose of the property by sale to 369 Sky LLC. And that public hearing would be on May 19th, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the Clarion Room at the Security Bank Building right here, 1102 Willis Avenue, Perry, Iowa. So could I have a motion, please?
Provide an RFP, setting a public hearing for the disposal by sale for the redevelopment of 110.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion?
Molly, it's been busy.
This is an exciting one, though. I'm excited for this one. So we acquired this property through 657A, and if you're not familiar, it's a process through the state that the city can acquire properties that are dilapidated or abandoned. So I think we acquired this one back in August of 23. Does that sound right?
Believe so.
So we did do some environmentals on it, a phase 1 and 2, and a structural assessment. And we're ready to open it up for proposals and get some interested buyers. So we did receive 2 applications or 2 proposals. And then we had a committee sit down and review. So that consisted of Jeremy and Barb, Sven, Sparky, our building official, and me, and kind of just discussed a number of questions and scenarios. And I only have 3 copies of just like a proposed layout that the proposal that we selected provided us. So they are thinking of doing approximately 2 to 4 apartments upstairs, and then either a showroom space or a karate studio on the main floor. Those may be subject to changing once they dive into the project, but are some exciting opportunities. So I will pass out like copies of the 4 plans. Time frame wise, they are wanting to start cleaning out the inside of the building. If you guys have not seen it, it's quite in a state of disrepair and there's a lot of things in there. So that'll be a process for them to clear out, and then they will start patching the roof and patching like the facade within the first 6 months to a year. And then at the first year, we'll start repairing like the basement in the first level. And then the following year after that, we'll start with the apartments upstairs. So it is a big project. They are anticipating probably a 3-year time frame for completion. But again, with the economy today and just the project in general, you don't really know the state of it until you're diving in deep. So we'll assist with them through that process and do have like a drafted purchase agreement and development agreement that'll kind of assist in that time frame. So happy to answer any questions if you guys have any.
You say they would start, who is the city employees?
They is the interested purchaser. So it's an individual named Hyro. I can't pronounce his last name, but his it's 369 LLC, but it's an individual named Hyro, and he is a local. He lives in Perry, so.
And they're also the owners of Quality Marble and Tile down, I call it Walt's old welding shop on West Fifth Street by the Public Works shop. So.
Yeah, but really exciting opportunity to kind of see this building get repaired and cleaned up, and I'm excited to see what they can do with it.
Great. Any further discussion?
I'm sorry, is it West Fourth, Josh? Yeah,
Yeah.
West Fourth, I apologize.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Okay, item G is a resolution awarding the RFP and setting a public hearing for the disposal by sale for the redevelopment of 2512 Lucinda. Again, it was acquired through the 657A process. 2 submissions were received. They were reviewed by a different group of people, and it was recommended that submission by Michael Hupp should be accepted. The public hearing will be held again on April 21st, 2025 at 6 p.m. here in the Clarion Room at Security Bank Building located 1102 Willis Avenue, Perry, Iowa. So can I have a motion, please?
Make motion, we approve resolution awarding the RFP and setting a public hearing for the disposal by sale for the redevelopment of 2512 Lucerne.
I'll second.
Discussion.
So this is another property. We received 2 submittals for this one. And again, with a committee that consisted of Vicky and the mayor, Sven, Sparky, and I reviewed the submittals and found that Cup was the best fit. He is proposing to do, so the lot is pretty large. It's about a 20,000 square foot lot. So in that zoning category, which is a residential duplex, you could split that lot in 2 and have 2 livable, buildable lots. So he is anticipating of building a single family on one and then a possible duplex on the other. His time frame is roughly about a year for the first building, which will probably be the single family, and then the duplex will follow the year after. Yeah, and happy to answer any questions. And I do have some floor plans for that too. And these are very pre-conceptual. Things may change as he explores other options, but just kind of gives an idea of what he's thinking to do.
And part of this one is the demolition and removal of the existing structure fairly quickly. And then getting ducks in a row for splitting the lot and construction, so.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Yeah, there is an existing home. If you drive by and see, it's pretty in a state of disrepair. And he did mention that he does plan to, once he acquires the property, to demolish that home and clear up any of the brush as soon as possible. Yes, it's 2512 Lucinda.
It's the northwest corner of 16th and Lucinda.
Yes.
Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
Shelley,
Yes.
Mahler,
Yes.
Okay, final item of old business is resolution awarding the RFP and setting the public hearing for the disposal by sale for the redevelopment of 1918 West 4th Street. Again, it was acquired through 5657A process. We did receive 7 submissions on this one. And it is recommended that JC and JC Homes LLC be awarded this one. The public hearing would be held on April 21st, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the Clarion Room at the Security Bank Building located in 1102 Willis Avenue, Perry, Iowa. So can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion, we approve resolution awarding the RFP and setting a public hearing for the disposal by sale for the redevelopment of 1918 West 4th Street.
Molly? Busy day?
Busy year.
Yeah. So yeah, we received actually 7 submittals for this one, which is really exciting. But same committee as the Lucinda property reviewed all those submittals and did find that JC and JC Homes were the best fit. That home does have some possible flexibility to potentially be rehabbed, or once all the stuff is cleared out and they do some deeper diving that it's not salvageable, they can tear it down and reuse the existing foundation to build new. This individual that the committee selected does have experience in building new and remodeling. So we did feel that that was also a good indicator of them being a better fit compared to the others. But yeah, so either building new or repairing what's existing, and their time frame was finishing within a year as well. Yeah. Happy to answer any questions. And I do have layouts for these.
I know in our review going through all 7 of them, it was great to have 7 good proposals. So it was tough to narrow it down, but as Molly mentioned, they do have good track record of taking on projects like this and
Yeah.
getting them done and done well.
And what's nice about this process is now I have a list of individuals that are interested in doing work like this. And so once we kind of offload some of these and acquire more in the future, I know who to kind of send out the proposals when they open too. So yeah, we got a lot of interest in these RFPs, which is great.
We've created a special fund for all of these 657A sales. So then it can be a revolving fund of, you know, to buy more properties in the future.
Yep.
Improve them.
Yeah.
Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Muller,
Yes.
Yes.
Scott.
Yeah.
Klein.
Yes.
And as I recall, there was one other property that we got one bid on and the committee didn't like that bid, so that's probably going to either go out for a rebid or maybe some of the people that didn't get these other ones may decide they want it now since they didn't get this one.
Place that one on pause for now, just to try and get this process for these three through, but we will explore maybe reopening the proposals for that one. We did only receive one, and what was submitted wasn't meeting kind of the requirements I had listed in the proposal and in the RFP. So we just thought, let's kind of close that one for now and maybe reopen it in the future. And I have notified that individual of that as well. But once we figure out that next step, we will bring that back to you guys.
I think one of the things we learned in this round was having 3 properties all at once, kind of diluted kind of the betting pool, if you will, on who was putting in for properties. So I think people were more choosy on which property they put in for rather than proposing on all of them or something like that. So as I think kind of one thing we discussed as that committee is breaking those up or spacing them out a little bit so that kind of get more interested in one at a time. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to new business. Item A is a resolution approving writing off bad debt for uncollected utility bills. City council has not done this with the water bills since September of 2017. We've got a list of uncollected water accounts from the Water Board on February 13th, 2025. And we'd like to write off a total of $28,181.79, of which part of this is from the city, but most of it's through the water department. And we will hope to do this on a more regular basis from now on instead of waiting for 10 years to clear it out. So can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion, we approve resolution, be writing off bad debt for uncollectible utility bills.
The waterworks tries to collect.
second.
Oh, sorry.
I'll second.
She's
You got
excited.
excited.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. I bet you were excited about this one. I thought you might be.
The waterworks attempts to collect either through the lien process, if it's the homeowner, or if but the landlords are able to if they sign an agreement with the waterworks, they can't put a lien on if they keep up with letting the waterworks know who's in a property. For those properties, we go after the customer, but a lot of times you try to collect through like the offset program with the state. So if you have like a lottery winnings or a state tax return, you can capture some of that. But some of these are people who like they can't find, or you have to have their social security number to put them on offset. So these are just ones that are purely uncollectible. They've tried every option.
And of that dollar amount, portion would be waterworks and then portion sewer, garbage, storm, things like that. So
Yeah.
it's
They
broken
didn't
out.
break on the listing
Yeah.
that they gave, they just gave us a total of all of the accounts, but
Yep.
yes, a portion of it would be for sewer and garbage.
On our side, the biggest one was around about $10,000 from a former septic hauler from out of town who did not pay. They went out of business. We've tried to collect, we've tried to send letters from the lawyers and everything, but they don't have anything. It's like, they probably have filed bankruptcy by now.
And that was even older, I think.
Yeah, that was
I
very.
think, yeah. So that was one of the things when the waterworks sent it to us to do this portion of it. Susie and I decided to really dive into our accounts receivable because City Hall does do our own billing for various things like septic haulers and extra garbage pickups and that type of deal. So there is a handful of accounts on there that would be strictly city accounts too.
Further discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Klein,
Yes.
Shelley,
Yes.
Mahler,
Yes.
Okay, item B is a resolution approving tax abatement application for residential construction completed in 2025. Reduces the property tax that the homeowner will have to pay after new construction, rehabilitation, and or major improvements. And once approved by the council, it will be submitted to Dallas County Assessor for review for the tax exemption. And the list was included in the packet. So can I have a motion, please?
I make a motion, we approve resolution approving tax abatement applications for residential construction completed in 2025 in Perry, Iowa.
Discussion.
This is just another Habitat for Humanity house over on Dewey Street. It did not go through with the others that went through because I believe there was a sidewalk repair that needed to be done and the building official wanted to make sure that that got completed before we move forward with tax abatement, which it has been, so.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, item C is a resolution approving the site plan for reconstruction of an employee parking lot by Raccoon Valley Bank within the city of Perry. Was submitted for the lot between Lucinda and Warford off of Third Street. Went through planning and zoning on March 19th, 2025, and the recommended approval of such plan. And so the site plans are submitted and then all the required regulations of the city of Perry will be complied with. So could I have a motion, please?
Motion. to approve resolution, site reconstruction of employee parking lot by Raccoon Valley Bank within the city of Perry.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion.
Yep. Service.
Yep, so there is a existing parking lot there today. It's the northern one behind their building. They are just reconfiguring it. So they are proposing 52 spaces, and they are proposing some security access. So employees only will have access to that. And there will be some arm bars for security, and then employees will be given like a scan card or key fob that will give them access through the gates. And yeah, there's some parking islands. Some are being removed to increase the parking calculations there, but some are remaining and they'll add some landscaping to those. And I do have copies. I don't know if you guys have it in front of you, but I have copies of.
Aren't there some apartments above Perry Payne also, those people have rights to that parking also, or is that?
So no, so it is the parking lot, and that lot itself is owned by the bank. So it is a private parking lot. From my discussions with the bank president, it will be entirely for bank employees only. I have had that question get brought up a number of times with the limited amount of parking downtown. Again, that's, it's a private parking lot, and the bank does have the right to kind of do what they want, and who can park there is kind of their choice. That may be opened. It was mentioned that it may be back open in the future to possible apartment tenants. What was mentioned was there is some incidences with, and I don't know exactly with who, but employee vehicles were getting scratched up and, ran into, and I think they're just wanting to kind of mitigate that and make it employee parking only. That was kind of the reasons that were given to me for that. So,
I've got a couple questions for you.
Yeah.
Mark. How many spaces do you say that there will be now?
52.
And how many are there currently? Do we know?
That's a great question. I think like 40, like 40, 42.
Do we know how many employees they have?
Not
Is it,
that many.
is it, okay, I didn't think so.
Yeah, that was
Um,
asked during our PNC meeting.
And then just, I haven't seen the site plan. Are those columns, does that have something to do with the security, the column things that they're putting in right now?
So it's a solar canopy that's
Okay.
being installed.
Okay.
So,
Like, that's pretty stout security, if that's what
Yeah.
that's for.
yeah, so the original plan, when this first came about in the fall was the bank was just wanting to install solar canopy for, energy reasons. And then from my talks with the bank president, they slowly were like, oh, well, we actually kind of want to redo our parking lot as a whole. So at first it was just a site plan with like minor improvements I could have administratively approved. But the threshold with that is if it's over 10,000 square feet of impervious surface that's being like added new or affected, that's when a stormwater management plan needs to be provided, and that's when we would take it to P&Z and council. So the first couple phases were just solar canopy. And we already issued a electrical permit for that. So that's probably why you see some columns out there today. And then it was just smaller minor improvements. And then it was like, we're redoing the whole parking lot. So that's why we ended up wanting a stormwater management plan and taking it to P&Z and presenting it to you guys tonight.
So the initial sentiment is that probably not going to let anyone else use it, but that possibly down the road.
That's what's been said, but the reason for the security right now is for employees
Sure.
who need to be parked.
But super ambiguous about the answer of future of that.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be just kind of between the bank
Yeah.
and other
Yep.
property owners
Yep.
and their tenants, so.
Further questions, discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Shelley,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Scott,
Okay, and item D of new business was dropped, so we will move on to ordinances.
Uh,
Oh,
C of new ordinances was dropped.
okay. Okay,
need my.
no, this one, yeah. Okay, sorry. D, approval of an airport commission reappointment. Need to read a little closer. So Mr. John McGee has suggested a request to be reappointed to the airport commission for a 4-year term, which would end on 3/31/2029. He's been an active member of the commission and stated he would like to continue to serve. So could I have a motion, please?
I'll second that.
Discussion.
Mr. McGee has been on Airport Commission for quite some time, and as the memo says, he's been a very active member and very engaged with all of the construction going on out there, and he's been very helpful.
It's good to have people that want to help.
Further discussion. Okay, roll call.
Shelley,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Okay, on to ordinances. Item A is a second and a possible third reading for an ordinance amending subsection to chapter 165.38 CHI Central Heavy Industrial District. As we've discussed in the past, this is to allow off-street parking that isn't adjacent to the or contiguous with the piece of property that the parking lot is on. So we met on planning and zoning. Parking lot is not on the same plot as the building that employees will be in. Okay. Planning and zoning met on February 11th and okayed it. City council had public comment on March 17th and the first reading was held March 17th and was carried unanimously by the council. And this is for the second reading. Could I have a motion, please?
I make a motion to approve the second reading for ordinance amending subsection to chapter 165.38 CHI Central Heavy Industrial District.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion.
I think Molly and I should just switch spots at this meeting.
Oh, okay. We've talked about this one in the past, but just kind of how Mr. Mayor went over is to allow parking lots to take place abutting against the Central Heavy Industrial District. Obviously, with that district being older and the building envelopes going up to the property line, and there are some existing lots out there that are non-conforming, so this will kind of clear it up, but allow for businesses like the Foundry to park closer to their buildings instead of crossing First Street. And there are a number of other provisions in that ordinance that were included in the attachment. So having some landscaping or fencing along those parking lots in the single family homes. It's only for employees only. So it's not for like trailers and trucks and things like that, because we want to respect the surrounding environment with those single family homes. So happy to answer any questions.
Any other questions, comments? Any public comments? Okay, roll call.
Klein,
Yes.
Shelley,
Yes.
Mahler,
Yes.
Schott.
Okay, now we would allow a motion to waive the rules and have the third reading held today instead of waiting for the next meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion on that? Okay, roll call.
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Okay, item B is a,
we need the third reading.
okay, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Okay, now we need a motion to approve the third reading for an ordinance amending subsection to chapter 165.38 CHI Central Heavy Industrial District.
Make a motion, we approve ordinance amending subsection to chapter 165.38 Central Heavy Industrial District.
I'll second.
Okay. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mahler,
Yes.
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Item B, second possible third reading for an ordinance amending subsection to chapter 23.01 Planning and Zoning Commission. It would basically was approved by the Planning and Zoning on February 11th, 2025. We had a hearing last week. We would drop it from 5 members to 4.
7.
7 to 5.
7 to 5, sorry, 7 to 5. Okay. And was read, first reading was March 17th, 2025, and was carried unanimously by the council. So could I have a motion for the second reading, please?
Make a motion, we approve an ordinance amending subsection to chapter 23.01 Planning and Zoning Commission.
Any further discussion? Okay, roll call.
Yes.
Schott.
Yeah.
Klein,
Yes.
Okay, now we need a motion to waive the rules and hold the third meeting today.
I make a motion, we suspend the rules and do the third reading.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call.
Yes.
Schott.
Yeah.
Klein,
Yes.
Okay, now we are going to have the third reading for an ordinance amending subsection to chapter 23.01 Planning and Zoning Commission. Can I have a motion? Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Klein,
Yes.
Shelley,
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Okay, and item C is what we scrapped from the agenda at the beginning. So any further business? Okay, being none, we will adjourn. 6:40.